Evening, everyone. It's 5:30 on Tuesday, the 20th. This is a holiday shortened week, but there's been plenty of action. The market was down hard. I think that the low of the day on the Dow was down 380. We closed down 346, which is just under 0.75%, but still a relatively nice recovery. Um, and advanced declines there were 2 to 1 to the downside. The rest of the markets were not nearly as active as that. We had the NASDAQ, which started the day down, finished down only 22 and change, or 0.16%. We had the S&P, which I saw down well into the 30s, 35, 36, closed down just under 21, or about a half a percent. The Russell down also about a half a percent, $8.77, and the transports down 57 and change, or 0.39. So really not a lot of action. However, after the close, FedEx reported earnings, or rather reported poorly. They missed on revenues. The stock had closed 231.65, down $1.81, and the last that I have seen on it, it got all the way down to almost an exact double bottom from about almost a month ago, 214.09 for today on the 1st of June. So just under 3 weeks ago, the low was 213.80. And after that, it moved straight up to Friday's high, which was 238. So it had a nice move up, and it gave all of it back today on those earnings. But it's about mid range, and after being down 19, it's only down 9. So that's kind of interesting. The big numbers today were obviously the housing starts and permits. They were up tremendously. And so, as you can see by these numbers I'm going to give you, they really took it to heart. D.H. Horton, new all time high, 118.32, up $1.92. Pulte, new all-time high, 74.88, up $1.38, or about 2%. And the laggard was Lennar, 121.58, up $1.56, which was up just 1.3. But remember that last week, Lennar had earnings and they were a beat, and the stock reversed from trading around 114. Today's high was 123. So, that's a pretty sizable gain. Tesla all over the news. They made another deal today with Rivian. And, people kind of booed and hissed about Tesla's deal with GM and Ford. But they are now the universal U.S. system for recharging. And, I think that's huge. One more, Zura, Zura. I couldn't find any new news on this one. Um, it came from a high of 37.55 in late March, gotten all the way down into the $4 and change area. And the only news I could find was 2 weeks old on some information about a phase 2 trial. So that was a positive. The news that I noticed today, uh, it actually wasn't today. It was in the last couple of days. They completed, 6 days ago, they completed an $80 million private placement. And again, there was no news specifically today, but somebody initiated coverage of it and the stock is currently trading at 12.45, up $2.97, or 31 and a third percent. So I assume that we'll see a little bit of strength there. The chart on the screen is Bitcoin. And I've been hollering about this now for 3 weeks in a row, about the fact that we're in this really nice flag. We've been unable to break below 25,000 and stay there, which was, if you look at it, it's right in the heart of what was resistance before. Today, three firms, Citadel and two others, are going to start an exchange that does not is not the custodian for it. In other words, you have to have your own wallet. You can do your trading there, but they don't keep them. And that answers a lot of questions about viability here. And so Bitcoin was up 1,735, closed 28,180. It's the first close up there since, this is a weekly chart, the week of May the 1st. So it's been a solid over 2 months. And it looks like we're coming out of that. What is interesting to me, I mentioned it on Thursday night, and again on Friday morning, um, GBTC looks like they may be able to get a conversion from the SEC now that BlackRock is starting a spot market. This was also in this weekend's letter. And so today, well, let me just pull it up so I can see it. GBTC sells at a huge discount. On Thursday, it closed at 13.40, up 14 cents. On Friday, it went from 13.40, 13.45 was the low, 16.10 was the high. It closed at 15.12, and that was up almost 13%. That carried through again today, touching 1773 and closing 1667, up another dollar and a half, $1.55, and that was 10.25%. So I'm going to guess that Grayscale may have a little bit better shot. The same thing happened with Ethereum, although it didn't happen as strongly on Friday. On Thursday night, it had closed at $7.35, and that was basically down 18 cents. On Friday, when the Bitcoin Trust was up 13%. This one closed 787. It was only up 52 cents, or 7%. However, today it had a low of 788 and a high of 944, and the last is 919, up $1.32, or 16.75%. So those are some pretty damn impressive numbers. Okay, tomorrow morning we have mortgage apps early. Um, we'll undoubtedly have a down opening in the transports on the back of that FedEx. They are a member of the Dow Jones Transports. And we'll have crude oil inventories, but we'll also have day one of Jay Powell. I think he goes before the Congress tomorrow and the Senate the next day. So we'll see what happens there. Oil, which was down almost $3, closed down 74 cents. 71.19. There's a roll there forward, so the numbers don't line up exactly. Friday's close versus today's close. Gold was down 23 and a half. The silver was down 89 cents, and it too was down over $1. Bitcoin, I've already told you, the dollar was actually up about 29 cents, 102.12. That had a huge down week last week, and the bonds were up 3/4. And I'm looking to get short the bonds, and I want to show you two charts quickly so that you'll understand the rationale. This is the bond chart. And as you can see, and this was also in the letter, it is riding this uptrend line. Um, give it a little bit more time so you can see what I'm really looking at. This is the series of lower highs, lower lows, all since the March 2020 blow off top at 130, 100, pardon me, 191. 130 is where the bonds were. So you see, we've not broken this yet. This to me looks like a bear flag. I think it's going to come down out of this. So you take a look at that and you look at the coffee, which unfortunately we can't trade anymore because there is no ETF that we can use, but I'll figure it out. And here is the coffee. And really, basically, the coffee is the same kind of chart. I'm going to pull it back a little so you can see. Uptrend line, channel, breaks below it, rallied back up to it and failed, and today broke to a new closing low going all the way back to March of this year. So I'm looking for that kind of rolling over in the bonds, and I will use TBT, and that is the inverse 2 to 1. So that's where we are, folks. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Hope everyone had a nice long weekend and a good Father's Day.